Hey everyone, welcome to the new episode of the 90th Minute. I'm Liam, that is Waz, and that's Lucas. Lots to cover today from the big news in Canada, at least, of Alphonso Davies going to Bayern Munich, hence the jersey I'm wearing. But around Europe's major leagues, there's so many different talking points. And Lucas, what would you like to start off with?
Oh, we briefly talked about Alphonso Davies on the last podcast, so let's just talk about him a little because the transfer was official today.
It's huge for Canada, huge for Canadian soccer, huge for the MLS. And you know what? For our hometown, Edmonton, which is also Alphonso Davies' hometown, you know, it's a massive deal, and it's something that I think we're all very proud of.
Yeah, it's such a big deal for at least Canada-wise, because the last time a player like this has went to a club like Bayern was probably Owen Hargreaves, and he never suited up for Canada.
Yeah, he never really represented Canada on the global scale.
I don't even consider him Canadian.
No, not even really, yeah. Alphonso Davies, on the other hand, is such a good ambassador for Canada, even like presenting to FIFA for the 2026 United bid. I've seen him play live. He's a brilliant player, and I think he's got so many possibilities where he could go. You know, with Bayern Munich, it could just be the starting of his career, you know?
Yeah, I played on the same pitch as him.
Wow. Big tings.
Yeah. Not against him, though.
No, I just played on the same pitch.
Yeah, he's a few years younger than us, unfortunately. But
he probably learned from me.
Oh yeah, of course.
So this is a transfer that could go up to $22 million
with add-ons and fees and everything.
Yeah, which is the biggest in MLS history, which is huge.
Let's move a little bit away from Alphonso for a second. What do you think this means for Vancouver Whitecaps? How do they move forward from this?
Oh, it's not like he's been like saving his team from struggles. They're a good team.
Yeah, but he's a key member of the team.
Yeah, but again, like, that's a lot of money they get, so they can reinvest into the squad.
Is. And I know last episode you said the MLS takes a chunk of it. They actually don't, because he's a homegrown player.
That's for other sales, I think.
Yeah, if he's an international player, then the MLS will take a part of it. But because he's a Canadian or American player, the team get pretty much all of it.
Oh, okay.
So $20 million, let's say, for the Vancouver Whitecaps is massive. Yeah. You know, that's 4 or 5 players right there. You know, that's
transfers from like Europe to North America is so weird, or North America to Europe.
Why?
I don't know. It just seems so complicated.
I don't think it's complicated. I think it's just something that doesn't happen too often. It's something that doesn't catch the headlines of a big name, right? Yeah. It's just it's you get your $1 million or $2 million here and there, but for a $20 million rated player, that changes the idea of MLS potentially, you know? Like, people may look at MLS for the next Alphonso Davies.
And then I saw in the replies, I think these were like anti-MLS or anti-North American people, or at least people from Britain people from Europe who don't know
respect
much,
it, yeah.
Or don't know much about the MLS, saying just, oh, he's just a Julian Green or something like that.
And, you know, the unfortunate part is Davies has to live through those expectations of Julian Green.
Yeah,
he has to.
No, I don't think his expectations are now Christian Pulisic.
No, what I'm saying is people are going to view him as Julian Green, or they're going to view him as just another, you know, Canadian North American kid, where he has to go to Bayern and prove that he's actually quality, that he can play in Europe, and that he could play in one of the top teams of the top leagues, you know.
But I wouldn't expect much for a couple of years. He's only 17.
Oh, I know, but you know they're saying he's going to stay with Vancouver up until the end of the MLS season, and then from there he'll join Bayern Munich. Whether that's just training with the first team, being loaned out to another Bundesliga team, or even playing with the second division Bayern Munich team.
Well, it's in the fourth division.
Well, fourth division, but the second tier of Bayern Munich. Whether he goes through one of those moves, you know, that's yet to be seen. But for what I think Alphonso Davies should do is get loaned out to another Bundesliga team, because I think he has the quality to start on a team.
He's only 17.
Yeah, and he's good.
People like kind of live him up to be like, it seems like he's 19 or 20, but he's only 17.
Yeah,
and there's a reason why Bayern spent so much on him.
They obviously see something.
They wouldn't spend $20 million on a player that's just gonna be there and go on loan or play for their youth team.
I don't think he'll start for Bayern this season, but you know, in the next couple of years, I'm sure he'll have a place to fight for, you know?
Oh, yeah. There's obviously like aging players like Ribery and Robin. Maybe they'll find out in the next few years if Coleman and Narby are the guys to push the team forward, or if Davies can push them and become the starter for the team.
Just a little side note, my sister is actually kind of friends with Alphonso Davies and sent him a message on Snapchat trying to get an interview for the 90th minute. He's yet to open that message, so we'll see what happens.
He's been very busy. So.
Yeah, he
I mean,
probably has a lot of messages.
A little bit, but I'm saying, if we could get a 90th minute official interview with Alphonso Davies, it'd be pretty sick.
It's kind of crazy that your sister knows who he is.
Well, she played soccer against him because she's 17 as well. Mm-hmm. So, with him, against him, that kind of thing. So they know each other mutually through that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. My sister's actually good at soccer. I'm just fat.
But yeah. You're kind of good.
I used to be.
Yeah, he's just slow now.
I mean, at least you still play.
Yeah. But, okay. So we talked about Vancouver Whitecaps. Does this have any effect on the greater MLS or...
I think in the future, it might mean that MLS clubs might demand more money for the transfers of their youth players if there's youth players that become really promising.
You think it demands a level of respect now?
Probably a little bit more respect with a guy like this promising, like MLS doesn't just have these duds; they actually have promising players coming out of here.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it will create a more like transfer focused market in the MLS, where teams that they usually try to sell to other MLS clubs will go to Europe and go, hey, are you interested in this player now?
Yeah, it might make them more of a selling league.
Potentially.
Which is fine if it helps their development of their country's national teams.
Yeah, that's the big thing is, Alphonso Davies, when Canada hosts the World Cup in 2026, will he be, the focal point of that squad? Yeah, quite possibly, right?
It's vital for like these North American players to get playing time at the highest level at these young ages. Before the World
Cup, yeah.
Like at 16, 17, 18, like you don't want to start too late because...
That's a big thing, yeah.
Because, I don't know... I know Christian Pulisic, he once said on a Players Tribune, like, there's just, like, Europe compared to North America is such a different atmosphere.
Yeah, it is. The emphasis on youth development and starting out young and treating, like, a 10-year-old like a full professional, it's so different than in North America. I remember I was in Spain, in Barcelona. I was watching the Barcelona FC channel on the TV there. Yeah, these guys were like 10, 11 years old, and they had, they were official, like, linesmen, referees. They had supporters there. Like, it was, for people who grew up playing in Canada, we're not used to that because it's something that we don't get all the time. But, to a North American, to a European person maybe watching this, they're going, yeah, it's just common. The young kids, they want to all achieve stardom, so they try to become a star at a young age, right?
What do you think about this whole situation?
I mean, there's an article I've yet to read, but it's about how in Edmonton there's a program called Free Footy. It's kind of all over Canada where kids have a chance to play soccer for free. Because, I mean, when we were growing up, it was like you had to pay or our parents had to pay like $250, and for some families it's a lot of money.
Yeah, like
to get their kids started.
Or
soccer.
at like club level, it's like over 500.
Yeah. So I mean, this article basically is about Free Footy, YEG, and it's kind of like how there's an Alphonso Davies in probably every Canadian city. So, I mean, programs like these that uncover one-star player. So.
I mean, that's a great initiative to have because I do agree. This probably is a lot of young talent that goes unnoticed in Canada or North America.
I feel like this is something the States need as well. There's so many good talents in the States. Like, I bet there's a lot of Latino players that are really good.
The States do have a better youth system, though.
But there's a huge pay to play in.
There is, but I think with the youth, with like the idea of like university teams in the States and everything, players have a more achievable route to the MLS, let's say.
Yeah, but I think that route is going to be less and less used in the future, or at least
you think it's just going to more through
the
clubs?
Better players are going to come through the clubs and the
fair enough.
colleges.
That is something that I think is a good thing because if you get them practicing together at a young age, it builds that team. I
find this interesting. Apparently, Bayern will need to pay some solidarity money to the clubs Davies played for in Edmonton.
Strikers.
Yeah, so in like a couple of years before we left the Alberta Capitals, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I know there's a Canadian, Liam Miller, who's at Liverpool. The club that he was at before he left for Liverpool, they received a 6-figure sum, I think.
That's not bad for a club in Canada. It's huge.
It was 5 or 6 figures.
That's huge. Yeah. Do you think the Canadian national team will be able to raise their standards to Alphonso Davies' standards?
It'll take some time, but
I mean,
let's say for the 2026 World Cup, will Alphonso Davies be on a team that he's the only player, or will there be a team around him?
Surrounding players.
I feel like it's gonna be more similar to Egypt, sort of like where there's one star player,
and then the rest are okay.
Yeah, they're good players, but they just haven't reached a stardom Salah or what Davies will be.
Yeah, I mean, quite potentially. I mean,
obviously, I'm not saying Davies will be as good as Salah. I'm not going that.
No.
And that's the thing. At 17, yes, he has potential to be fantastic, but there's also been lots of fantastic players at that age who didn't achieve what they were capable of. You know, you look through the list of Arsenal prospects and you go, oh yeah, or even Man United, oh, this is the next Ronaldo. And it's just
like when Yanis has first 2 goals against Sunderland and he's dubbed the next Ronaldo.
Yeah,
but I don't know. He seems like a guy who's like really humble. He's knows what he wants to do in his life, wants to become the best he can be, and is willing to work as hard as he can to get to where he wants to be.
Yeah, totally.
He's a good Canadian lad.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about Bayern Munich and what their legacy might be with Alphonso Davies. We see Christian Pulisic at Borussia Dortmund becoming one of the star players in the Bundesliga. Mm-hmm. Could him and Alphonso Davies have a bit of a rivalry in the next few years, you think?
I feel like there's going to be some rivalry. I feel like they're just going to somehow end up becoming close friends.
I don't know. I feel like there's a good chance that Pulisic could get transferred in the next few years.
To a bigger team?
I wouldn't say it's much bigger, but like I feel like because the marketing potential with Pulisic with the States, a big team or like at least a big Premier League team would be willing to pay a huge sum of money.
You think of jersey sales in the US of a Christian Pulisic Tottenham jersey or something like that. You know, it would go over really well in the US.
I would like to see him be at Dortmund for at least 5 more years if Dortmund keeps building, because I think their future is better now than it was last season.
Can Dortmund reach the level of which Pulisic wants them to be at, or what he needs them to be at. Yeah. That's the thing.
Like if Pulisic keeps improving at Dortmund, then that's good for him.
Yeah.
But if he stalls, then he might need to move elsewhere.
Yeah. Let's talk about Dortmund for a little bit. You know, new manager coming in, new systems coming in. Their transfers so far have been interesting. They let Andreas Schürrle go out on a 2-year loan today to Fulham of all places. I mean, great deal for Fulham. You know, they get a bona fide Premier League and international player.
He's definitely past his prime, I'd say.
I don't know if he's past his prime. I think he's just very out of form right now.
Yeah, he struggled under a new system with a new manager, and he's kind of been
at a couple different clubs over the years: Chelsea, Dortmund.
We're talking about we're talking about like a World Cup winning player who played in the World Cup, and it wasn't just on the bench. Like he was a part of that team.
He could be good for Fulham, but we'll see what happens. It depends how Fulham plays.
I'm sure he'll add. I mean, it's like Ronaldo Sanchez. You know, like will Andreas Schürrle?
I don't know about that. Ronaldo Sanchez is quite young, yet still has a lot of potential. Schürrle's
but Ronaldo Sanchez has not been at his best these last few years.
I don't think you can't even compare the two, though. That's the thing.
Okay. I mean, fair enough. I mean,
sure, he went to Swansea, but like,
and he did nothing there.
I mean, maybe Schürrle will do something at Fulham, and Fulham's a top club.
Sure. Craven Cottage is the top 10.
I mean, don't they have the Michael Jackson statue?
Not anymore.
Oh, I don't know why I put that in there.
But we were talking about Dortmund.
Yeah.
And so they got a new manager, Lucien Favre.
I like him.
Yeah, he was a Nice manager, former Mönchengladbach manager. He's definitely respected in the game, and
he did very well at Nice last year. Yeah.
He's pretty similar to the play style like Thomas Tuchel was with Dortmund, which is ideal for Dortmund's philosophy.
Totally.
They found a guy that they want to push them forward. This is the guy they wanted before Mr. Bosch, the former Ajax manager who became the Dortmund manager, but they wanted Favre, but he wasn't available, unfortunately.
Do you know offhand what the Borussia Dortmund financial situation's looking like?
Like the transfers, or?
Well, are they making money? Do they have money to spend on people, or are they in a time where they want to save and build finances?
They've probably been making good money, but looking at the transfers here, they've sold players worth 48 million euros, and they bought players worth 53 million euros.
That's not too bad then. I mean,
they haven't had to sell like a big star player.
They sold Aubameyang.
In January. That was kind of forced, though.
Yeah, that hurt them, though. They need to find another bona fide goal scorer.
Yeah, they're still struggling, I guess. Like, do they really have a striker in this team? because they brought in Diallo, who's a center back from Mainz, who he played well for Mainz last season. He's only 22 years of age. He definitely brings good stability to the back line. Delaney, he's a solid midfielder from Werder Bremen. I was impressed by him when he first joined the Bundesliga from Copenhagen, I think. He's a solid player. Marius Wolf came in for pretty cheap, but he's a solid option on the outside flanks. But they do have a bloated squad, a lot of players that they need to let go.
That's the thing, yeah. Well, as you are a Borussia Dortmund fan.
Somewhat, yeah.
As a fan, okay, with Lewandowski, yeah. But who would you like to see them bring in as a striker? Is there any names that you think would do well there?
I don't know. I haven't really watched them play in a while, so it's hard to say.
But is there any names that, like, in the world of football, you go, yeah, he would...
Maybe
I'd like
Mario
to see him
Mandzukic. Maybe.
I think it's a bit bigger than Dortmund at the moment.
Probably, yeah. I mean, just...
And the players they've let go...
Edison Cavani?
No way.
Not happening, sorry. Hate to break it to you.
But they let go guys like Yarmolenko to West Ham, Socrates to Arsenal.
Yeah.
So they're not a club known for, picking out big players. They're just
for finding the talent, yeah.
Stars.
I mean, that's good. I mean, it says a lot to their scouting and to their young development that they can find those younger players and sell on for big. What I think it's important, though, is to find those young players before you sell the big names, because we're looking at them this past season or two, and they've been in a bit of a drought where they don't have the talent there to back up the ones they let go.
Yeah. I think they would have been fine if Thomas Tuchel was still there, but
potentially
they looked really good against Liverpool in the preseason game, more in the second half where they scored some nice goals.
Yeah.
Pulisic, this could be a breakout year for him, so we'll see what happens.
There's a lot of pressure on him to have a good year, I think.
Yeah, and he's only 19 or something.
Yeah, but he has to step up. He has to prove to these people that he's for real and he's not just another American in a sense. Yeah,
but this could be a year where Bayern could be pounced on. It's a transition year, new manager.
We've said that a few times where Bayern, we see them as a team that's a bit weak and have a few cracks at places. And
I won't say weak, but yeah, they definitely do have cracks where if things start going wrong, then who knows what can happen.
You lose a center back through injury or, this or that.
That kind of shows your Champions League too.
Yeah, you're going, who's stepping in to replace, Boateng if he leaves,
Obviously Sula was not maybe trustworthy enough in that.
There's a few positions on that team where I go, who's the backup striker? Lewandowski goes down, or
Thomas Müller can
play. Or if he goes to Real Madrid or somewhere,
That's the thing.
Yeah, Wagner's a backup striker,
and
I'm not a big fan of him.
Is he really? Yeah, he hasn't convinced me.
And he
yet.
works in number 2. Like that's so weird.
they had Mario Gomez a few years, didn't they?
That was like
a while
4
back,
years ago.
Yeah, but he was still effective for them.
But my thing is, so if you're looking at Dortmund or Leverkusen or these other German teams, Schalke, you're going, hey, we have a chance here to not only maybe pressure for a title, but get a Champions League spot or a European spot. So they have to go out and they have to perform well, and they have to buy players that maybe are a bit more expensive for them in hopes that they can recuperate the funds the next few years.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting teams in the Bundesliga, like Leipzig. They have a lot of young players in that squad where if they all gel together, they started preseason really early.
They did lose their star player though to Liverpool.
Yeah, so that could be a problem.
Yeah.
They still haven't replaced him, but they're still looking for 2 more midfielders.
Yeah, you know what? There's lots of players out there who can step into these teams and become sensational. We've seen it happen all the time where these players out of nowhere are signed.
And then with Leverkusen,
they do well,
they still have young guys like Henriques, Havertz. And if they can keep Leon Bailey, that could be huge for them this season. Because they finished 5th last year because of goal difference, which is kind of crazy. And then with Hoffenheim, they got into the Champions League, but they're losing their young manager, Julian Nagelsmann, next season to Leipzig. So is this a year where they can continue being a Champions League team, or are they going to drop off? Yeah,
they have to show if they have what it takes or not. And I'm leaning more to they don't. But then again, go out and surprise me, see what you can do.
Schalke, I'm not too sure about them right now. I haven't really done much research on them, but we'll see how they do this season.
Shame on you. What other topics do you want to cover, Lucas?
How about Portugal?
Wolves.
Wolves.
Wolves,
Exactly.
Wolves FC, aka Portugal. Yeah, I mean,
When are they signing Pepe and Ronaldo?
I mean, let's be honest here. Wolves are a team that no one really expects much from them. However, they have a ton of money behind them from, I think, a Chinese owner.
Yeah, and help of Jorge Mendes.
And Jorge Mendes, the super agent. And they have signed pretty much like half the Portugal squad.
Yeah, they look pretty good. It's kind of...
Rui Patricio, the number one goalie, is now the Wolves' number one goalie.
I got all of them right here.
Do it. Go nuts.
Diego Jota, he's signed from Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
Willy Bolly, who's French, but he's signed from Porto.
Isn't he really fast?
I think he's a center back.
Oh, never mind.
He might be so really fast.
Benegofobi signed from Bournemouth. Jean Moutinho from Monaco.
Yeah, the third highest capped Portugal player in history.
Bonatini, who's from the Saudi league. That's interesting. Loan and with the option to buy for Raul Jimenez. Rui Patricio, like was mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Top goalkeeper is really good.
Johnny Castro's on loan, who's just got bought by Atletico Madrid. He's a good left back.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've sold players. Actually, wait, did Benecophobia get sold to Stoke? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that.
But like insane. Well, okay, we say insanely good transfers, but we don't know. I mean, on paper, Wolves are a team that would go, hey, these guys could challenge for a spot. Like they're top 10 quality.
Like for a promoted team, the signings they've been making, they've not been too expensive, and they've been good value for their squad.
Totally, yeah. And it's gonna make it really interesting to see if they can make something of this Premier League season. So. Has there ever been a team that's been promoted and then won the league the next year?
No, but Fulham might.
No, Fulham's not gonna do it. I'm saying if Wolves.
I think it happened in the Bundesliga once, but
Wolves won the Premier League this year. There you go.
But yeah, there's like having a goalie like Rui Patricio, like having
it's crazy.
Good goal in the league is so huge.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they just seem like they play good style of football. And
and there's excitement with them.
I hope this season's gonna be like Leicester Part 2, but with like
with Wolves.
With like Wolves and Newcastle fighting for the title.
But like,
I don't see Newcastle fighting for this title.
They're struggling to make signings.
It's okay.
I see Newcastle closer to the bottom than I do closer to the top.
Newcastle, Fulham, and Wolves will fight for the title.
I don't know what you've been drinking. Like,
but like,
is the water not just pure vodka? Like,
no, because Ryan Sessegnon will win the Golden Boot.
But
there's a shout.
But I don't know. Fulham, like they play good, attractive football style.
Exactly.
So Cardiff, not so much, but
Cardiff City Bluebirds.
With from Wales, what do you expect? Gareth Bale to pop out of nowhere?
Hey man, you never know. But okay, well, let's talk about those three teams being promoted: Fulham, Wolves, and Cardiff. I think most of the excitement surrounding Wolves because of the signings they've made.
I don't know. I think Fulham.
Well, Fulham because of Ryan Sessegnon.
Yeah.
Ryan Sessegnon, if you don't know who he is, he's a 17-year-old.
17 or 18.
Yeah, and he's an English player who's blown up the championship. He was a left back, and he also won the golden.
Yeah, he moved up to like left wing.
Left mid, and he won the golden boot. Like
he's also has a twin.
Yeah, does he? What's his name?
Don't know. I don't know.
Jeff Sessegnon?
I don't know. I just remember seeing him play at the under-17 World Cup.
There's a lot of Sessegnons out there.
There actually is, actually.
But other transfers that Fulham have made, Jean-Michel Seri, he's a fantastic
he's a good
player.
Yeah.
Kind of Seri.
He is good.
He's the type of player where he receives the ball from the defenders.
Where's he from?
He's Ivory Coast.
No, what club?
Nice.
Oh, that's why I say I don't watch that league.
But Nice had a good season last year.
Not last year. 2 seasons ago, they had a good season.
They
were just
season
slightly struggled last year. Better in the second half of the season.
Maybe it's not a Tim Pot league. Maybe it's like it's.
Wow, we're converting laws over here.
Anyways.
Okay, but talking about Ryan Sessegnon a little bit. I mean, the signings that Fulham have made, even Andreas Schürrle, he will bring talent and he will bring quality to that midfield.
And also, they brought in Le Marchand, who improves their back line. Mm-hmm. Also, Fabry, who's the Besiktas goalie.
So he did not come to Besiktas?
No, he left.
He went away from Besiktas?
Wow, that's a shame.
I was actually always a big fan of Galatasaray.
Yeah, I know.
But after that transfer window, I was going to Besiktas. I was like, Besiktas are kind of cool. But yeah.
But I think these are solid transfers.
They are. And they bring competition, which I think the promoted teams don't usually have. You know, when they get pushed up.
You said Sari is a defenseman?
No, he's a midfielder.
Okay. In the fantasy Premier League, he's a midfielder, so
yeah,
okay.
Okay. But they bring competition, like I was saying, and these players who aren't necessarily Premier League quality, let's say, they're bringing people in that will make them better and help them to raise their levels.
Yeah, we'll see if it's enough for Fulham. Apparently, they need a left back still, according to our friend who's a Fulham fan.
Yeah, so do United.
What? Who do we know is a Fulham fan?
Oh, our friend Greg.
Oh, he is. Good for Greg. Yes. I like that. I mean, I don't know how many people are actually Fulham fans, but yeah, good for him.
He watches most of their games.
That's interesting.
Better than Celtic.
Oh my god. I don't understand what happened.
Would you agree that Fulham is better than Celtic?
No.
Okay.
Let's move on to Cardiff City.
Thank you. I don't know much about Cardiff City. I gotta be honest.
I'll be honest.
I haven't followed them that much.
I know they were in the Premier League not a couple years ago.
Yeah, and then there was all that drama with their owners that changed their name and their colors.
Their owner some Taiwanese guy?
Yeah, Vincent Tan.
He's still the owner.
Oh,
but he's actually a good owner.
He's good. He just the first season because they were the Cardiff City Red Dragons or whatever, and then they went to the Cardiff City Bluebirds. And everyone's like, "What is this?" Like,
yeah.
Looking at their transfers, they made 2 transfers worth over 10 million. Josh Murphy from Norwich, who has a twin on Newcastle, and Bobby Reed from Bristol City for over 11 million. They also signed a goalie named Alex Smithies from QPR and Greg Cunningham from Preston.
So they're signing a bunch of lower league players. I mean, fair enough. They don't have as much like clout and respect as the Wolves signings.
Did you say clout?
Yes, I did say clout.
Oh my god.
They don't.
What does a clout mean?
They don't have as much like respect and swagger to them.
Okay, that's better, thank you.
Okay.
I assume they want to get some loan signings in, but I don't know.
Do you know the manager of?
Yeah, Neil Warnock.
He's actually a good manager.
I remember last year against Wolves, he got really pissed off at the Wolves manager.
He flipped off the camera or something, didn't he?
Something like that.
That's good. That's good to have. Good fire.
My knowledge on Cardiff is not the greatest, but I don't know. I don't expect much from them, but maybe they'll surprise us.
Do you think any of those 3 teams will stay up?
I think Fulham and Wolves will.
You're saying, ooh, that's interesting. 2 promoted teams staying up.
Last year, 3 of them did.
Yeah, fair enough.
So you don't like Newcastle?
I don't think I don't like Newcastle. It's just I don't see them challenging for the title.
They have some great players in Perez. John Joe Shelby's
Don't classify John Joe Shelby as a great player,
He's
please.
a great midfielder. He's underrated. Great veteran experience, too.
No.
They have a great defender in Lascelles.
Let's be honest. The greatest player...
DeAndre Yedlin plays for
The greatest player Newcastle have is their manager, who, in all respect to Newcastle, he should not be their manager.
Newcastle's going to prove everybody wrong this year.
I don't know. The problem with Newcastle is their owner, I think. He's not letting Rafa spend the money
Mike
he's
Ashley.
promised.
Yeah, he's for the past 2 years, he's been wanting to sell the club, but he doesn't want to sell it then. It's like, Mike, just if you don't want it, then just sell it and let's move on, Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's a bit of a mess there.
Yeah, like they have to sell to sign, which is going to be a problem for them.
Yeah.
I think they were not good enough to stay. Oh, I think they were good enough to stay up, but many people thought that a lot of their players were championship worthy, which isn't a good sign to have that for a second year in a row. So if they can't really make any good signings, then it's going to be a struggle.
This reminds me of Leicester.
But no one expected him to do anything?
Exactly. Yes. See, this is it.
Hey, the thing is, after Leicester won the league there, which was, again, I say the greatest sports story of all time, the top 6, let's say, went, okay, that can never happen again. Let's take it real seriously every year and go out there and win it, So we see teams like Man City, Liverpool, Man United, even Arsenal and Tottenham, we'll throw that in there. I'm not too sure about Chelsea, but those 5 or 6 went out and said, let's go spend money, let's go buy players, let's go make ourselves superior. I don't see a team breaking that top 6 for a little bit.
We'll see.
Okay.
Let's move on. Let's move on to something else. So you guys want to talk about Spurs and their lack of signings?
Stick in the Premier League.
They don't need to make signings.
I mean, they probably do.
No, they don't.
What, is it Harry Kane?
No, their team is fine. They just need to build off it. Simple as that.
Well,
they need to add.
If other teams are improving, then
they need
they're
to add
going
to
to
it.
stall or go down.
No, they can
And
improve.
especially if they're selling Vertonghen or.
Are you saying these players they can't get better, or they're just stuck at the same skill level?
Of course, but I'm saying if they're going to lose players or if they're going to, the other teams are getting fantastic.
Yeah.
Look at the Man City squad. Who's the worst player on Man City?
I mean, Man City is they've already won the league, right?
I mean, they haven't. I'm going to argue that one until the season starts. I'm telling you, Man City will not.
Who's gonna win the league? Liverpool? Like, come on, man.
What I'm saying is Man City will not win the league as convincingly as they did last year. If they win the league, it will be less than 5 points.
I don't know about that, but
That's my prediction.
I don't see any issues with Spurs. They got a good team as long as they can hold on to their
They have a good
defenders.
manager. And I mean, they have arguably the best goal scorer in the world right now. I mean,
My problem with them is their depth.
yeah.
And again, like
We saw that in the Champions League.
and this is what I'm going to say. A lot of their players, they played in the World Cup semifinals. I think like at least 6 of them did.
Yeah.
And that means they also played in either in the final or the bronze medal game.
Okay, maybe they do need to make some signings.
Like this could be a problem similar. I don't know. It could be a problem where they start really slow,
Yep.
or they could get some early injuries because
The players have like 2 weeks rest.
yeah, and they come back from like their preseason break, or no, their vacation, and
Yeah.
the preseason's almost done.
Yeah, I agree. They need to, depth is a big thing, and I don't know where they're going to sign that. They don't have money to sign him.
Yeah, because of course. What are you pointing at, Walls?
Oh yeah, at the players here for Liam to look at.
I see the players. I know the players. The players are good. The starting 11 is a good starting 11. Don't get me wrong. They've proven it over the past few years in the Premier League. But yeah, they don't have enough depth. And with the stadium, and then they've spent however much money on the stadium, they don't want to go out and spend money on transfers, which is like an Arsenal situation is ridiculous. You know, like they're gonna struggle to hold on to these big names,
and they had to like invest a lot of money in these contracts that they're giving.
Yeah, they interviewed Pochettino today. He goes, "Oh, we've got Harry Kane and Lamella and this and that." You name like 5 big names. He's like, "Oh, they've signed new contracts. That's like new signings." And it's like, it's not. Like, I hate to
like
break it to
Wenger.
you. Yeah, honestly. Talking about a big name for Tottenham, Hugo Lloris, there was supposedly a 60 million bid from Real Madrid today for
I
him.
saw that from a pretty bad source.
I mean, it's a bad source or not, but that's a goaltender that would have to be within the Madrid talking
I
points.
think Madrid would probably rather get Courtois.
Well, of
'cause he'd be
course.
cheaper. But
It's shocking that Thibaut Courtois is cheaper than Hugo Lloris.
Yeah.
that's because of his contract, though.
Yeah, like Courtois is a much better goalkeeper.
Apparently,
The best player in the world.
Victor Wanyama.
I love Victor Wanyama.
Is he ever gonna fulfill maybe his potential? Or?
He did.
He did?
He scored a goal against Barcelona.
Oh, what do you mean?
what do you think his potential was? World class midfielder.
I thought he was gonna be something solid. Yeah,
He scored a goal and beat Barcelona.
He's a solid midfielder.
Yeah, but I mean, do you expect him maybe a bigger role from him next season for Spurs?
Well, he did have an injury last season, which kept him out for a lot.
Do you
of it.
think he is as valuable as N'Golo Kante? Because they
No.
play a similar role, do they not?
I mean,
Defensive
arguably,
midfielder.
but-
kind of different.
I mean, Wanyama's a little bit taller, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
And
Wanyama
stronger,
is a tank. Yeah, I remember watching him play for Celtic against Barcelona, and he ran through Xavi. Like Xavi was dead. But yeah, I mean, we're looking at his fantasy points here. Our highest season was 2016-17 with 103. Not terrible for a midfielder. N'Golo Kante, I remember he was around the same mark for points. You know.
But that's because fantasy Premier
I know
League is
fantasy
Yeah,
points you can't really rate a player,
No,
but
not really.
at the same time you can kind of look at what they're doing for their club, right?
It's like using FIFA ratings.
No, I know,
It's
but
like-
you can get what I'm trying to get at,
It,
though.
it,
I
puts
don't know,
a bad cloud on the mind of the
probably the
clubs.
best judge is your eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
I like Victor Wanyama, big fan.
And I like Kylian Mbappe.
I mean, yeah, we know that. I think 3/4 of the world does. Like, he's on the
Except
top.
the Croatians.
They respect him. That's what they do.
Well, Pogba.
Pogba is a player that I saw the World Cup in a different view this time. I saw him have a role in a team that I didn't think he had in him. at Juventus, I always said he looks great because he's next to Pirlo, who is one of the greatest midfielders of all time. Mm-hmm. He goes to United, he plays a bit more defensive, plays a bit more far back. I go, is this really what is worth 100 million or however much his transfer was? I don't have like at United. I don't think he lives up to his expectations. At France in the World Cup, he was brilliant. He was really good. He was instrumental on and off the field, scoring goals, passing, defensively. He was good. Now the question is, can he bring that form to Manchester United this season?
It's possible.
I say no.
I think he can.
I say no because the players around him and because of Mourinho.
Maybe he finally woke up.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But I say the role he is in United is not the role he was for France.
I mean, he was pretty woke when he played for Juve.
But then I say my reason was because
I'm talking was because he said he woke up.
Okay.
I think it was because he was next to Andrea Pirlo, who makes anything look good.
I want to talk about this interesting scenario around Malcom in the middle.
Yeah, what a
That's
mess
show.
that is. Not the show. What a mess that was.
So Malcom and
Bordeaux
from Bordeaux, and he was going to get transferred to Roma. The deal was pretty much agreed.
It was
Both
done,
teams tweeted.
Yeah.
And then he's about to board a plane.
To go to Rome.
Suddenly, Barcelona hijacked the deal. The next day, he's officially unveiled at Barcelona.
Yeah. I mean, that to me is a player who just is going for the money or the name on the front of the jersey. There's no like integrity there to say, hey, I made a deal with Roma, let's stick with it.
Like there's some big interview with him. It's like, Malcom, what happened in 2018? What do you mean? You were supposed to go to Roma, but you went to. Can you tell us just what kind of happened there? Oh, I'll tell you the story.
I mean, but I think anything
it's
money.
like some like crazy like action Hollywood stunt movie and like.
No, money was involved 100%. I mean, obviously Barcelona offered more, whether just to Bordeaux or to the players
Apparently,
weekly.
Roma were willing to match it, but they were too late or something.
So that says to me he wants to play for Barcelona, not Roma. Where Roma, he'd probably get a starting role, but Barcelona, he'll have to fight for it.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I mean,
what I'm saying is, it's a bit of a selfish reason, in my opinion.
I know.
I kind of would do the same.
Well, it's because you just like money.
I mean, no, I hear the name Messi. Like, I want to train with Messi. I don't want to train with,
And Dzeko.
Yeah.
And Dzeko. I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, look at the players who have gone to Barcelona with hopes to become the next thing. Look at Arda Turan. He went there instead of being loyal to Atletico and this and that.
I mean,
and then he does
a different
nothing.
Position, right? Like, I feel like there's some competition without Malcom, whereas
that brings
Arda Turan went to Barca and there was players like Iniesta still there and Rakitic, right? And
it brings another question about Barcelona.
Who already locked their place into that starting 11.
Well, starting 11 locked into Barcelona right now is Ousmane Dembele on the right-hand wing.
Well, is he really a locked
That's
in?
the question.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Will
That's
he
why
start?
Malcom has a chance of playing at Barca.
And, well, what does it say for Ousmane Dembele? Will he stay at Barca? There's rumors of him going to Arsenal
to
for
be fair, he
some
did
reason.
get a pretty bad injury last season, so he didn't really prove his worth.
I think he's a generational talent.
Yeah,
so,
same.
He's up there with Mbappe, 100%.
So
It's
Barca
just that-
letting him go would be really silly if they decide to do
And
that,
that
which I
injury
don't
just-
think they will.
Injury just kind of hurt him, right?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I feel like if he didn't get that injury, he would have been starting for France at the World Cup. And at times did he or he started some games, right?
He started one game, I think.
Yeah, but
I don't know. Him and Mbappe, who's going to start? I don't know. That's a tough one to call. I mean, who's the left winger for France?
Left winger? Like, they played, like, kind of like a 4-4-2 or...
Okay, well, who's on the left wing?
Like, they sometimes played, like, Matuidi on the left wing.
Yeah. You could argue that if you could have Mbappe and Dembele on each wing, that would just be insanity.
And if Martial kind of gets out of United and
went away.
Maybe, yeah. Because Martial's amazing. And, like, if you can get those three players together on the same pitch, it's dangerous.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't rate Martial that high, but
Are you
sure.
kidding me? He's generational.
He's not as high as
I don't think
Mbappe
he's
or
generational.
Dembele.
I think he's, like...
Naff off.
Let's move on to another Serie A rumor. Bonucci. We thought he'd probably go to PSG.
I'm getting so tired of this Bonucci saga. It's like, listen, Leonardo, listen. You screwed over Juventus 2 years ago, whatever it was. Now you're like, oh, PSG, that's nice. Oh, wait, Juventus. Oh, wait, AC Milan. It's like, oh, my God. You, your agent, make up your mind. Whatever team you want to go to, go. Like,
just go back to Juventus, play in the Champions League, and say you're sorry.
Go to PSG. They need a solid defender.
They're also in for Boateng, so.
Boateng? Boateng? Little Jamaican boy over here. Jerome Boateng? I don't know. I think I'm going to tell you, I think Bonucci is got a few more years left in him than Boateng.
Did he play well for AC last year?
I think he struggled in the first half of the season, but then he kind of had a good partnership with Romagnoli. But
From what I've seen of Boateng this past 6 months or so, he's been looking slow. He's looking poor on the ball. I don't know if there's injury involved or if there was just lack of fitness or whatever it was, but he did not impress me the way he used to the past few seasons.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting where these center backs will go.
It's concerning for Bayern if you're looking at Hummels and Boateng going. Oh, these two were like 1 and 2 in the world a few years ago. Now they've dropped down exponentially. You know,
it's pretty sad, but that's how the game works. Sometimes if you don't take care of your bodies, bad things can happen.
Yeah.
But if Bonucci went back to Juventus, would that make them for sure Champions League contenders if they aren't already? Or would you rather see them play a young player like Caldara, who...
I think it definitely would add to their squad. Don't get me wrong. I think Bonucci's a good defender. I think he would bring a lot to Juventus. My issue is, what would their formation look like? Would they go back to a back three again? Or, without Buffon there, does that bring questions into like what they want to play as,
I know the 2016 season when they got to the Champions League final, the BBC backline... Barzagli, Bonucci, and Chiellini, they were
outstanding. Yeah.
But Barzaglis 2 years older, Chiellini's 2 years older. Same with Bonucci, who's 31 now.
And I think if Juventus want to look to the future, they should avoid Bonucci.
But are they going to try to win the Champions League this season?
That's the question. Do you look for a short-term fix or a long-term fix?
Because apparently, if Milan let go of Bonucci, they want Caldara, who's the young player who's really promising in Italy.
What is the fee surrounding Bonucci?
It's kind of tough to say. It might be like... Because Juve want to include Higuain in the deal as well.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Wages.
Yeah. Because
Juve have to let a lot of their wages go.
Because Cristiano Ronaldo gets a little bit of money. Side note, Cristiano Ronaldo, I don't think we mentioned in the last episode... His home in Turin is the most expensive house in the world. It's 40,000 euros a day. Yeah. What is happening? Like,
why not?
I mean, fair enough, but I mean, like, it's got like 200 rooms in it.
It's where Fabio Cannavaro used to live too.
He's bringing like a $2 million NASA machine that he trains with. There's like zero gravity. Jeez. Like, this guy is like, I know
this guy is insane.
No, but I know, but the thing is, he has the results. Like They released his statistics on his medical at Juventus. He had the body, like muscle mass of a 22-year-old. He's 32. Like, he took 10 years off his life by just staying in excellent shape. Like,
and
credit to him.
He has the money to have the resources. He has the mindset to work hard to make sure he stays in the shape.
I remember watching his documentary, actually, and he was training his son. His son was like 6 years old at the time. He's got him like swimming laps and like in the gym. I'm like, okay, let this kid like actually like grow up before you make him to a muscle man. Like, I mean,
maybe this is what the kid wants to be, though. He wants to work out like this.
No, the kid wants to be a goaltender, and Ronaldo said no to him.
And then the kid now scores banger free kicks.
Yeah, he does. Could you imagine, like, in the next, like, 10 years, Ronaldo's kid is signing for Real Madrid? How sick would that be?
I don't think they'd go to Spain again because of the tax.
I guess, yeah, he can't.
Go to United.
Ronaldo's kind of
apparently
banned
his son
from
would be
Spain.
eligible for the U.S. national team.
Was he born in the U.S.?
Apparently.
Oh, quite possible.
Can you imagine that Ronaldo plays for the United States? Ronaldo Jr. just captain to the States.
16-year-old Ronaldo Jr. like plays against
Ronaldo. You ask this kid, so how was it growing up in the U.S.? What?
Yeah, he doesn't live a day in the U.S., but he's technically allowed to play. I mean, fair enough. I mean,
but there's no way Portugal would let that go if he becomes that good.
Wait, let's go back to Juventus and Ronaldo's team. Let's talk about
where's Messi's son at?
Thiago?
Yeah,
living his life, man.
Apparently, one of the sons is pretty bad at soccer,
Jesus.
But the other one is pretty good. So
to be fair, Wayne Gretzky's son never played hockey, so.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard to live up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
yeah.
But
Wayne Gretzky's son now plays like baseball.
Thiago Messi. His dad's Messi. His grandfather or like his godfather is Maradona. His uncle is Aguero.
Yeah.
Like, he had like 6 or 7 like huge Argentinian players in his family. It's like, oh my god, like credit to him.
Jeez. But anything you want to say else about Juventus or Bonucci or anything?
Bonucci, in my opinion, should go to PSG. I think that's a good league for him, a good team for him. They can help him potentially with the Champions League next year.
The only problem is Bonucci, like his home is Turin. His son lives there.
That's nice. France is not that far away from Turin.
I mean,
France is very nice as well.
I mean, a train from Paris to Turin takes like
his
an
son is
hour.
actually like has like bad medical history. Like has
He can stay there.
Leo, that's just very insensitive from you. Shame on you.
Is Bonucci? He's not making $2 an hour. He can fly to and from every day.
Family matters, and I think you should go to Juventus.
No. He's a good Besiktas.
No, well, last
No, he should go to PSG and help him do Champions League. Juventus should go after a young, solid center
They
back.
already have young.
I mean,
center backs,
speaking of Turkey,
Go to Koulibaly.
there's been some news surrounding this country and a certain football player.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about Mesut Ozil.
I think that's something that needs to be discussed because it's
Lucas
a big topic. In the
Lucas
world
does
of
not
football.
look happy about this topic.
I don't want to get political on it.
No, but it's needed because this is a very political game.
I think my opinion on this is that the DFB is in the wrong, and I feel like a lot of them are kind of short-sighted. And
I feel that it was from what I've read from Mesut, I felt like the DFB is being very arrogant and ignorant.
Let's explain to the viewers if they don't know what's going on. So Mesut Ozil has retired from international play for Germany. He said his reasoning is because of racism and because of what was the other reason he gave?
It was something to do with the Turkish
Turkish president. Yeah,
I
don't know how to pronounce it. But what happened was
he's only 29 as well.
Yes.
That's a shame.
Ozil took a picture with the Turkish president, and they're kind of close in that sense. The Turkish president is someone who is known for like bad human, whatever the word is. What's the word I'm looking for?
Human rights.
Human rights. That's the word. Yeah, he doesn't really care about that side of things. So the DFB, which is like the German association, have said they don't want to be associated with that kind of thing. So they kind of pushed Ozil out. But Ozil made the final step to retire. But Ozil said when he does well for Germany, he's German. When he does well, everyone calls him a Turkish immigrant.
You mean when he does poorly?
When he does poorly, he is called Turkish immigrant.
Ozil kind of made an interesting point. Like no one says like things about Klose and Podolski saying how they're Polish German, but when it's Ozil, he's Turkish German, right? Mm-hmm. They view Podolski and Klose as Germans.
Yeah, there was a few players that he called out. It was like they criticize him when he does poorly, and they call him from a different country and this and that. Like Leroy Sané was one of them, and
Gundogan, I think.
Gundogan, yeah. And it's upsetting if that is the actual case inside the Pokal.
I mean, I'm not going to speak on the politics, but I'm kind of like, I'm happy that Ozil came out and talked about this. Because, it's racism and you don't want to see this in the game. And
my question is this real or is this Ozil trying to make excuses?
I mean, why wouldn't it be real?
I agree.
Excuse.
I don't see it as an excuse.
Yeah,
either.
no.
I agree. I agree. It is probably real. That's probably unfortunately what's happening. And whether it's high officials in Germany or whether it's just fans or whether it's this or it's both,
Was it Bayern's president that said the very unprofessional comment?
Uli Hoeneß, yeah.
As he's in jail.
Yeah,
he's not in jail anymore.
No, he got out.
He's back with Bayern.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, I don't mind. I don't mean to swear on you, but he basically came out and said, "Yeah, Ozil, you're just shit."
Yeah.
And then his agent came out and proved him completely wrong with some of the facts that with what Hoeneß said. His agent completely gave facts proving him completely wrong.
What he said was when he was at Bayern, whenever they played Arsenal, they would focus on Ozil because they knew he was so bad, and he hasn't had a good season since 2014, which I don't agree with. No. Ozil's not my favorite midfielder of all time. No, I don't rate him that highly, but he's not that bad, and he doesn't deserve the negativity that's surrounding him right now.
Yeah, and the other Bayern guy, Rummenigge, who I'm not a big fan of, but he said better things compared to Hoeneß.
Okay, good. That's a change from Bayern Munich. That's what I don't like about Bayern Munich. It's just like their top bosses are just very arrogant.
Yeah, they are.
And it's.
But they got the stats here from the World Cup in 2018, the Euro 2016, and the Euro qualifiers. Ozil's only played 14 matches and gotten 1 goal and 5 assists and all of that. I mean, it's not the highest of turnover.
He doesn't really pad stats, I guess you can say.
I don't think he's as fantastic as people say.
Does Conte really pad stats, though?
I mean, they're very different players.
Who should we compare him to? Ozil, too.
Tony Cruz, right beside him.
Okay.
Let's see what Tony Cruz's stats are for the German national team. So, I mean, that's not much better. 2 goals and 2 assists.
They're central midfielders. They're not supposed to score goals or create.
Yeah.
I found Rummenigge's statement on Hunis.
Let's do it.
So about Hunis's Ozil statement, Rummenigge said, "I'm always close to Uli. I think he never liked Ozil as a player so much.
Mm-hmm.
It got on his nerve that Ozil played the racism card. I think mistakes have been made, and there are many losers, Ozil himself and the DFB, who made a poor effort. As I said before, the DFB is full of amateurs and have no idea what they are doing and do not deserve to be there. We need competent people to handle the crisis. The national team is the most important team in our country."
Oh, thank God someone said something
And you know what?
respectable.
Well, let's look at the German national team. There's obviously issues going on there. The poor World Cup, turmoil afterwards, politics. Obviously, they need someone at the top who is
you'd think
not
more
only
politics with the Spanish national team, with like the whole Catalonia thing.
But you'd think with Germany, you need someone who's at the top, who is strong, respected by everyone, and cares about the national team first and foremost.
Rummenigge suggested they need to bring Philipp Lahm.
Yes,
wouldn't be a bad player.
Lahm. Bring in Lahm, bring in Klose, bring in Podolski, bring in the old boys club.
Bring in Poland or what? Like,
yeah, bring in Schweinsteiger at some point.
He's still playing.
I know. I kind of want to go to Chicago and watch him play.
I know, but you know, it's a really unfortunate series of events that's happened not only for Ozil but for the German national team. I hope they can resolve it, and if Ozil comes back, I don't see it happening. I think he's going to stay retired, but if they can figure out a way, both sides going to become, you know, happy with this. It's just it's a real big mess right now. You know, for a country as huge as Germany and as global as they are, they need to figure it out because it's just painting them in such a bad image right now.
Yeah, it's really bad.
All right, so what's next up on that?
Is there anything else you want to talk about, or should we just wrap this one up?
Let's wrap it up. We've been going for quite a long time,
we have.
so I think it's good to finish it off.
Yeah.
You know, it's sometimes in the middle of the transfer season and
it's a bit slow.
With it's slow and like
it's picking up though.
Premier League is starting up. We're gonna cut 2 weeks, 3 weeks here. Maybe me and Liam are gonna be gone. Liam's definitely gonna be gone. He's gonna be somewhere.
I leave in like 14 hours.
He's gonna be gallivanting somewhere in Scotland.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Please don't get lost.
Unfortunately, I will not be able to watch a Celtic match.
Why?
Because the game that I am there for, like if the time period.
Can you bring us a piece of Celtic Park back?
No.
You can like just take the grass.
I don't think so. No, but the game I was potentially able to go to was actually an away game.
Can you?
So it would be in Athens if they make it. I'm not going to Athens.
Can you bring me back a rock?
No.
Why?
I'm not gonna bring back a rock.
Please.
From Scotland?
Yes.
Didn't you tell that from one of our friends to bring you a rock from Jamaica?
Yes, and he did.
Okay, I'll look for a rock. I don't know. Like
my collection of rocks continues.
That's just weird. Okay, for myself, Liam, Lucas, and Waz from the 90th minute, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope we covered things you find interesting.
Safe travels.
Thank you. Let us know in the comments what you think. Follow us on all the social medias. It's in the bio, comment, whatever you want to call it, down below. And yeah, thank you for watching. This has been yet another week in the beautiful game. Thank you.